Hey guys, so I think it's been a little over a year since I made that last video, and I wanted to share with you what happened. As you probably already guessed from the title of this video, I drank again, and I'm also quitting again. Alcohol affected my life in a horrible way, and I'm deciding to quit for good. So last year I made this video talking about quitting alcohol and also benefits of quitting alcohol, and in that video I said that I might drink again. I wasn't really holding myself to never drinking again. I was just quitting for that time in my life, and it felt good, and I was sober I think for almost 6 months. And it felt amazing. I had so much energy, I was getting the best sleep, my skin was very, very clear. I had also lost a few pounds. I never suffered from anxiety, and my mood was never very depressed or very low. But yeah, when I made that video, again, I was just saying to myself, I don't need alcohol in my life, and I'm just gonna quit for now and see how this feels and try this out for a while. So since that video, I've drank. And I can just say that alcohol has not done me any favors. It hasn't added anything to my life. When I do drink regularly, like each week, like on the weekends or whatever, I end up being very tired and very exhausted, and I'm less likely to be productive and have a positive outlook on life. I also tend to get very kind of depressed, or maybe depressed is too strong of a word, but alcohol really takes a toll on my mental well-being. And I just decided to not have it in my life anymore. I think the hangovers were the worst because you have this crushing anxiety, and I end up not enjoying the things in my life that used to bring me happiness and joy, things that I loved doing. If alcohol is in my system, it's harder to enjoy those things. Also, if you are experiencing a hangover, you probably experienced shame and guilt, and that can really outweigh any other feeling. What I've come to relearn, which is something I already knew, alcohol is an addictive drug, and it can be incredibly harmful to anyone. Alcohol is an addictive drug. And I've actually recorded a podcast episode talking more in depth of what happened and what made me want to stop drinking. So if you'd like to listen to that, it is also linked down below in the description bar. But for now, let's move on. So because of my experience, my life experience with alcohol, I have chosen not to drink anymore for good, just because of all of the good outweighs the bad. When you stop drinking, your life really does change for the better. And I think the main thing with this choice is the fact that my perspective has just completely changed. Just through educating myself on what alcohol does to the brain and what alcohol does to the human body, especially over time, it's frightening. And looking back, I think I told myself lies over the years about these habits that I knew were unhealthy. Smoking, drinking, just because I didn't want to admit to myself that I was addicted. And when I say addicted, I mean maybe it's just consuming either of those drugs and regretting it later, or wishing I could take it back, wishing I hadn't had another glass, or wishing I hadn't smoked. Heads up, if you don't know, I used to be a smoker, and I also quit smoking. It's been over 2 years since I quit smoking. Just a side note, if you want to watch that video as well, that'll be linked below. Anyway, back to addiction. I think when it gets to the point where you wish you didn't do something and also thinking it would be way too hard to quit, that's addiction. And I actually have a book with me. To quote Annie Grace from This Naked Mind, she actually defined addiction as doing something on a regular basis that you do not want to be doing, or doing something more often than you'd like to be doing it, yet being unable to easily stop or cut back. Basically, it's having two competing priorities, wanting to do more and less of something at the same time. Just realizing this and being honest with myself has been incredibly empowering. And I'm pulling another paragraph from Annie Grace's book. She says, if you feel you need alcohol to make you happy, relax you, or help you enjoy your evening, you are already in trouble. Just because your body is not yet falling apart and you have the means to feed your craving doesn't mean you aren't addicted. Maybe you have not reached the chronic stage where you are completely physically and mentally dependent on alcohol. But if you think you need alcohol to enjoy social occasions or to relieve the stress of the daily grind, you have already become emotionally dependent. The cumulative effect of alcohol on any drinker is unhappiness, not happiness. Being honest with myself, and then looking at what I was doing, and then telling myself no. Also, I just want to say, with the work that I have been doing over the course of last year and the work that I'm continuing to do this year, I have a lot of experience with child sexual abuse. I have a lot of experience with trauma in my life, and I want to talk about those issues because they are important to me. And each time I do talk about these topics, people have told me countless times that it has been incredibly helpful for them to hear me just be able to bring my voice to these issues. People ask me to be on their podcast. I've had interviews. And I've also realized that these are painful topics to talk about each time. It kind of takes something out of me. And I've come to realize that trauma and alcohol do not mix well. I was diagnosed with PTSD. I'm not sure if I still have it or not really. I guess I might, considering I still get flashbacks and things like that, but I want to help people. And I can't do that if I can't help myself. I really have to take better care of myself if I want to continue doing the work that I want to do. And alcohol is just not a part of that. So here we are. Here, now. It's a little over 6 weeks since I quit drinking alcohol. And again, I feel amazing. It just feels good to take care of yourself, even when that means telling yourself no. Even when that means you know you want something, but it's not good for you. You shouldn't have it. And that drug that you like might be causing you more harm than good. And the great thing about this is eventually, you stop craving it. And when you stop the craving, you stop being dependent on it. At this point in my life, it doesn't feel like I'm giving something up. It feels as if I've gained a new life. It's like I've given myself this second chance, and now I'm ready for it. This is the nicest thing I've ever done for myself. And also, I'm just curious about my potential. Since quitting alcohol again, I have been insanely creative and productive. And I'm working on so many projects that I can't wait to share with you guys. And I'm going to start posting some sobriety videos. If you're interested, you can check back here and watch some sober videos. Hopefully they'll be helpful. We'll see. Also, you can check out my blog and my podcast because I have listed benefits of quitting alcohol on my blog. On my podcast, I have talked about things that have motivated me to quit. I talk about my story, and I also talk about those same things that have kind of helped me stay sober. So all of that will be linked down below. But I hope you guys found this video helpful, and I'm just really excited. Again, I have my hands on so many different projects that are outside of YouTube, and I also am working on some awesome videos for you guys as well. I honestly feel better than I ever have. So I'm actually filming this video on Tuesday, March 5th, and I've been sober for 1 month and 14 days. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep this going. But I hope you guys are having a good day, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.